Here comes God's son, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes God's son, I say, Hosanna. Holy city, it's been a long time you've been waiting. Holy city, but the Messiah is finally here. Here comes God's son, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes God's son, I say, Hosanna. Shout Hosanna, look at the joy on all your faces. Shout Hosanna, the King you've waited for is here. Here comes God's son. Here comes God's son, I say, Hosanna. Son, God's son, here he comes. 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 Holy city, lay down your coats and wave your branches. Holy city, the kingdom of our God is here. Here comes God's son, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes God's son, I say, Hosanna. Here comes God's son, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes God's son, Hosanna. Hosanna.
Hi friends, it's me Lucy from Devo Time with Lucy on the CCGS Kids YouTube channel. Have you had the chance to see my new show yet? If not, stop by sometime and take a look. Even though I have my own show, I still like to watch others' shows, especially my friends'. My friend Victor has a show called Animal World. Have you seen it? He told me not to miss today's show. He has some special guests he's going to be interviewing. Do you guys want to watch it with me? Good. It looks like it's just getting ready to start. I'm so excited.
Welcome to Animal World. I am your host, Victor Veterinarian. On every show, we examine the wonders of God's creation in the animal world. Today, we're going to talk to a couple of donkeys from the New Testament. Our first guest is, there's no name, just the number 007.
That's right. No name. I'm 007. A secret agent donkey.
Well, since all male donkeys are called Jacks, would it be okay to call you Jack instead of 007?
Sure, Jack will do. Good undercover name.
What's all this secrecy about anyway? You appear to be wearing a disguise.
Can't tell you too many details, you know. I was part of the getaway plan. That much I can tell you. Herod was out to kill the baby.
Are you talking about when Mary, Joseph, and Jesus had to flee?
Shh! Keep it down. Very dangerous situation. Let me start at the beginning. I was taking them to Bethlehem. As you might know, donkeys are excellent mounts for fragile cargo. We are sure-footed, require less food than a horse or ox, and we are particularly patient and persistent animals, and as a result make excellent pack animals.
So, what valuable cargo were you carrying?
A pregnant woman who was carrying the Messiah. Let's refer to her as Mary Smith.
And where were you headed?
Bethlehem, for the census. It was a busy place, big crowds. We blended in. Once we arrived, we holed up in and out of the way stable until the baby was born. I thought it would be the ideal hiding place, me blending in with all the other donkeys and sheep, but we were found out.
And how did that happen?
Big star appeared in the sky. All these shepherds coming and going and spreading the word. Pretty soon it was all over the city. But I knew the jig was up when these high-profile kings showed up with tons of gifts.
What kind of gifts were those?
Gold, frankincense, and myrrh, worth loads of cash. Seems like they had tipped off King Herod. Now, King Herod was jealous of his power. When he heard from them a new king had been born, he wanted to know where, so he could, off the baby.
He was planning to kill Jesus?
Shh! No names, please. God appeared to the kings in a dream, so they took a different route home to avoid tipping Herod off concerning our location. But it was no good. Herod rounded up some scholars and discovered the baby was born in Bethlehem. Herod just decided he'd kill all the babies born over a 2-year period to make sure he got the one the kings had come to worship.
I remember reading about that in the Bible. It was a terrible slaughter of innocent babies.
Dreadful. Anyway, Joseph, we'll call him Joe Smith, got word to flee with Mary and the baby. So he packed us up in the middle of the night and we fled. Let's say to an undisclosed hideout in Egypt where Herod had no power.
That sounds very interesting. What happened next?
Can't go into details. Things stayed pretty top secret for the next 30 years. I was assigned to train a new agent, my daughter, for a very important assignment involving the Messiah. I'm picking up an incoming message.
I understand God created donkeys with big ears so they could hear well.
That's right. God made us donkeys with a number of terrific features. I think he really loved creating us. I gotta go. Bye now.
Folks, that was just part 1 of our exciting program. Stay tuned. Next, Jack's daughter will tell us about her secret mission. Welcome back to our show, Animal World, where we interview animals from the Bible and find out their exciting stories. Our next guest is referred to as 008. Let's welcome her.
Hi, I'm 008 and this is 009.
Pleased to have you both on the show. I understand you are the daughter of and were trained by Jack? I mean, 007?
Yes, my father was an important agent, but because God created donkeys to live about 25 to 30 years, he trained me for an important mission about 33 years after his.
I understand this mission had something to do with Zechariah 9 and the coming of Zion's king?
Yes, my son 009 has it memorized.
Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, daughter of Jerusalem. See, your king comes to you, righteous and having salvation, gentle and riding on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey.
That was a messianic prophecy. God was letting people know how to recognize his son, the king and Messiah, when he arrived on earth. Historically, donkeys were a status symbol of their owner's wealth, like a Rolls Royce is today.
For example, Judge Jair.
Is that any relation to Judge Judy or Judge Joe Brown?
No, this was a judge from the Bible between the time of Joshua and Samson.
Judge Jair had 30 sons who rode 30 donkeys.
Leaders riding horses symbolized war and conquest.
But leaders riding donkeys symbolized peace.
Another judge, Abdon, had 40 sons and 30 grandsons who rode on 70 donkeys. He led Israel for 8 years.
Donkeys were also connected with King Saul.
He was out looking for lost donkeys when Samuel told him he would be Israel's king.
So, what exactly was your mission? Or is it secret like your father's?
It wasn't a secret.
It's recorded in Matthew 21.
It was Passover week, just before Jesus died for all the human beings on the earth.
Jesus sent 2 disciples into Jerusalem. He said,
Go to the village ahead of you, and at once you will find a donkey tied there, with their colt by her. Untie them and bring them to me. If anyone says anything to you, tell them that the Lord needs them, and he will send them right away.
His disciples brought us to Jesus and placed cloaks on us like saddle blankets.
Then Jesus sat at my mom, who is 008.
A very large crowd spread their cloaks on the road, while others cut branches from the trees and spread them all over the road.
The crowds were shouting, Hosanna to the Son of David. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest.
So, that was Jesus' triumphal entry?
Exactly. Just as Zechariah had prophesied, Jesus entered the city riding on the animal that signified peaceful lordship.
I was honored to trot alongside Mother as she carried him into the city.
What lesson do you think our listeners should take away with them after hearing your story?
Always be ready to serve the Lord.
And take your children along with you so that they can be part of the Lord's work.
Well, I want to thank both of you for being here today on Animal World. Stay tuned for further adventures in God's wonderful world of animals. Bye.